What's up, guys? Back in hat today, first time in the new house with that. Today we're going to be looking at a very popular community favorite, HHIS by Harvest Portfolios. Lots of creators are talking about this fund, but they are not talking about it in the way I'm about to talk about it, which is using the cover call ETF AllStar Tracker, a Google Sheet tool I've created to easily filter through all the chaos and noise of all the funds that are out there. There's 300 plus here on the tracker, so that you can build mock portfolios, get all the most relevant information in an easily packaged format like this. Now I'll give you an example. We are going to go through a whole host of tabs here that are associated with HHIS to give you in-depth analysis on what's actually going on with HHIS and give you some context as to why this fund is drawing so much attention. So let's get into the tracker, and just remember, guys, if you like what you see, you enjoy the content, hit all buttons of the like and subscribe variety. I know it becomes a bit of a hassle hearing that from creators. I was on your side of things. I would never do any of that sort of stuff, but on this side of things, I actually get why, and it does. They always say it, but it does help out a great deal. So think of it like, a tip essentially for the kind of free information that you get here. Now with this tracker, it is available down in the description below. There's a link that you can pick it up for $50, and it's a year's worth of trackers, one emailed out on the first of every month. And there's always going to be new features like new MERs, which is coming up next month, and new funds, and sometimes new tabs, all kinds of extra information just to build this out to make it a better experience for you. And hey, if you're currently wondering who else uses this tracker, well, I've never divulged that information, but there's currently 88 of you guys using the cover call ETF AllStar Tracker. So to those who are using it, thank you guys, and hopefully it's helping you all out. So with the promo stuff out of the way, let's get to HHIS, which is by Harvest Portfolios. Now, what makes this fund so attractive? Well, at 26.16% forward-looking yield would be one of those reasons. It is by far the highest yield for any diversified fund. Now, some of you are going to say, Jordan, that's not diversified. It's like all tech. I just mean for the number of contents inside of HHIS. That's what I mean, okay? And it's part of a lineup by Harvest Portfolios called the Income Shares ETF lineup. Quite popular, that they started launching, I want to say towards the end of last year. Don't quote me on that, but anyway, fairly recently, within the last 8 months, 9 months or so. And they released in January a version which puts all these single stock cover call ETFs into one place, and you see that in HHIS. So let's go through some of the info here. So again, it has a forward-looking yield, 26.16%. That just simply means, if you're new to this, that if the yield was stable, or say you bought at the price as of, say, when you see this $11.47, and the distribution was steady for the next 12 months, this would be that forward-looking yield. So it's not a guarantee, it's not locked in. The yield will shift based on price. You can see its daily volume and average volume is quite high, especially here in Canada. 309,000 units traded daily on average. That's quite high. So if we filter the tracker just to see what's at the top, okay, I want to say it'll be there. So the only thing that trades higher is ZWU, which is the BMO Cover Call Utilities ETF. But next up, right behind it, is 309,000, with that 300,009 units is HHIS, and like third place ain't even close. Like this is a race where, right, HHIS is looking behind it and can't see anybody, right? HMAX pulling up in third with 247,000 units traded daily on average. All right, so let's keep moving along with HHIS. You can see 52-week high discount. That just simply means that it is down 17.84% off of its 52-week high. Okay, and its high was right here, $13.96. And we can also look at just performance data. You're going to see PP and TR. P just stands for price performance. TR, total return, price performance, and dividends included. Okay. So year to date, let's see, it's up like 1%. Year to date price performance down 7%, but total return up almost 1%. Now, if I'm correct on this one, its first distribution was in March, so we got March, April, May, and June, so 4 months. There's an 8% gap here, right? So if you take 4 months plus 4 months plus 4 months, right, we get 12. 8 plus 8 plus 8 gets us to 24% as far as that yield. So very close to that, what we see, that forward-looking yield at 26 point, that whatever we saw there. Anyway, 26%. Okay, so moving right along. Also, too, I know cover calls get the rap for, caps upside. You hear this a lot. Again, that really depends on structure of these funds. And the more you condense and concentrate something down, especially into momentum-driven stocks like HHIS has, then yeah, you're gonna get the ability for these things to typically grow more naturally. Now, I also want to say, we'll get to it in a moment, it's portfolio coverage. So it pays out monthly. It currently has a management expense fee of 40 basis points. It wasn't around in 2024, but I had to put it into a column here. So this will be updated as of July 1st. And you'll see another column here for 2025 and MERs and all that good stuff. Portfolio coverage, 50 up to 50%, meaning the other 50% is unbound. It can do whatever the market's doing, which is great for the kind of high octane kind of performance that you find from what's held inside of HHIS. And it's all the big players, right? You got Amazon, Apple, MicroStrategies, Coinbase, right? Broadcom. I mean, the only other sort of kind of boring ones might be, I guess, Costco. And I want to say, oh goodness me, I'm probably going to get it wrong on this one. Eli Lilly would be the healthcare one. Okay, this is a big one. It has been out. So what? It's been out for 6 months, almost, coming up on 6 months. And this thing has racked up almost $400 million. Guys, that kind of growth here in Canada is absolutely insane. This is a bona fide, I was going to say winner, but I want to let the thing evolve. Give it more time before we call it that. But we'll just say it really has won over the income investing side of things. Okay, and that's not to be be coy about it or try to it is that's fast growth. And we can compare that in the AUM tracker, and you can just see how quickly it's growing compared to basically everything else. Right? It's got a small dividend streak going on here, again, because its first one was paid out in March. And you can see its inception date was January 16th. Its first distribution, March 1st. And then we kind of get to the distribution section here where its first distribution was 25 cents, which was in March, and it has stayed steady ever since then. It paid out 25 cents in May, pays 25 cents in June, and there is no lifetime change, no month-over-month change in that regard. So we've seen it there. Well, let's take a look at the yield tracker. So what this tab really just does is month over month on basically the last day of the prior month, it just tracks like whatever the yield was. So if we go down to Harvest, we'll go down to HHIS, which we see here, and then we can see just how has that yield changed over the last couple of months. I believe when it started, I want to say maybe it had a 25% 5% target yield. Again, that's not another thing to quote me on. I'm probably going to say that a lot throughout this video. But anyway, you can see that, hey, look, 26% to start, and that would have been in March. It jumps up all the way in April to 28.79%, 28.57. I want to say at one point, I think at its low, just because it's a fund I'm interested in, it will be part of my portfolio in short order. But I want to say it got up to about 31% at one time, and it got down to like $8 and some odd cents. Anyway, so some of you have told me that you picked it up in that $8-9 range. Kudos and good job to you guys. Some of us are going to be getting it at certainly a higher number here, but I'm more than happy to pick it up with a 26% yield. So, anyways. Month over month yield change. The yield's actually down by 9.72% as it has recovered ever since the Liberation Day announcement. Trump backing off of a lot of the tariff talk, right? I'm sure you guys have heard of what's being coined the taco trade, right? That's Trump always chickens out. Right, so that anyway, that's kind of growing in prominence. Trump doesn't like it too much, but anyway, that won't stop the memers out there from spreading that. Okay, AUM. Let's go over to this tab. Let's find our HHIS fund, and let's just see how this fund is growing compared to everything else. Where's HHIS? Let's grab it right there. Okay, let's go to when it first popped up onto the scene. We see that for the February tracker, it started at $43 million. Yes, it came out in January, but it only became part of it was added to the tracker in February. Okay, so it jumps from 43 to $127 million over the course of 1 month, an almost 200% increase. And then, it doesn't see the exact same, but still, a very impressive 33% increase to 170. Again, jumps up to $256 million, a 50% increase. That's not slowing it down. And then as we come into June, another staggering 41.52% to $362 million. Wow, this thing is a freight train of sorts, you could say. Anyway, so impressive AUM growth on that side of things. Let's head over to average volume that we see from HHIS. Has it really changed? What did we see? 309,000 units on average being sold. Let's check out what we see here with HHIS ever since inception here. So we can see in February, its average volume was 109,000. It jumped up wickedly to almost 300,000. And I guess it's kind of just hovered within that range, right? It saw a May high of 319,000, slightly down in June. But again, that's still a staggering number. Remember, we saw HMAX from Hamilton was like 247,000 units average volume. Okay, what it averagely trades every single day, and even if it went down slightly, like it's still it's still doing, it's still going bananas on the market. So anyway, huge change there. When we go into the distribution tracker, we already talked about it. HHIS hasn't changed its distribution whatsoever. We go across this, the screen here, and it has remained steady. Now, that's really it for as far as the tabs are concerned. Now, again, there is a tax tab. Now, what I'm going to be interested in doing, say, come next year, is how HHIS, again, how does its tax factor summary work out? And if you're not too sure really how this all works out, I've tried to break it down into percentages so that you kind of get it. So once you get an idea of how the tax factor summary works, what is the most tax efficient, like return of capital. Then depending on your income level, if you're a smaller income, eligible dividends would be your next best friend. But if you're a higher income level, then capital gains would be your number 2. But either way, they're interchangeable. Those are the next kind of 2 most tax favorable. Everything else in these categories, foreign income, other income, gets taxed at your marginal tax rate. So with HHIS tax factor summary, I'm going to go on a limb here and try to dissect what we can maybe expect from HHIS and how I'm thinking of actually playing this. Now, because it's US focused, there is a chance that you could end up getting some foreign income in here. And I mean, that's not like, you gotta, like, if we go down the list here, let's just filter it. What kinds of funds? Oh, it's already filtered like that. So look at all the funds that has foreign income with it. There's a lot of funds in here in this tracker that have foreign income as part of their as part of like potentially the taxes you might have to pay. So that's just a forewarning. It's not like, I've seen all American style funds which have like 100% ROC, which again, ROC delayed capital gains. It's not that you would never pay tax on it. It's just, that's probably a conversation for a whole other video. But you can surmise that if you bought it this year and expecting it next year, if it had 100% return of capital, that's not something, as far as I'm aware, you would pay taxes on unless you held it for like potentially 5-10 years. Well, at its current pay rate, those delayed capital gains on the ROC could kick in like soon. Like, we're talking 4 or 5 years, it could kick in and convert over to capital gains. Again, still tax efficient, but there's a lot of other funds where that doesn't kick in till like 10-15 years. So anyway, something to be aware of. Now, for the most part, I think it is expected that you're going to get a boatload of ROC in there and capital gains as well, and then maybe some foreign income potentially. But I think for the most part, again, no tax expert here. Talk to your tax professional about this kind of stuff. We're doing just kind of fun speculation here. But yeah, ROC, capital gains, you're not going to see eligible dividends. That's for Canadian funds. So yeah, there's ROC, capital gains, foreign income potentially. The way I'm thinking of potentially playing HHIS, just to avoid that potential for foreign income, and because we don't know, and again, year over year, the tax situation could change. You could have more. You could have all ROC, like 100% ROC in 1 year, and then you could have, who knows, 50% ROC the next year. We don't know. So I think I will play this one. I'm thinking in my TFSA. I would have to switch something out for it. So that's, again, for a different video. I just came out with a I just sold my place, have 75 grand to spend, went through sort of the struggle of trying to figure out tax situations, and especially, with my wife who's a dual citizen, how would that work out if we put some money in her name? But I think maybe the easier play could simply just put it in the TFSA, and I just don't really have to worry about any of that stuff that way. So when it comes to HHIS, everybody, solid fund. You're going to get lots of great updates here in the cover call ETF AllStar Tracker as far as HHIS is concerned. If you like a video like this, you want to see more where I do a breakdown on just one particular fund, and you want this kind of style of video, I don't necessarily have to make it 20 minutes long, but we could do it, I'm sure, a lot faster. But just let me know in the comments below, make suggestions for different funds. And if you haven't done so already, again, hit all the buttons of the like and subscribe variety. Always much appreciated. And again, pick up the tracker for yourself. It's a great resource. And like I said before, 88 of you are currently using it. So hopefully that's a vote of confidence that you jump in yourself and take advantage of the kinds of info that this thing can unlock. Because there's a lot of stuff we talked about in this video. There's probably a good 3 hours of material I could divulge and show you guys how different ways to use the tracker to get the info that you need. So play around with it and you'll see what I mean for yourself. So until next time, everybody, see you later.